Yes, people, welcome back. It is another Friday night. This is the Red Cartel. I am your boy Errol, and we are on Redmen 2 tonight. And we've got a big weekend of football fixtures here in the Premier League. So, without further ado, I've got some panelists with me. Let's kind of move these lads around a little bit because I want my Man United lads there up top and centre. I've got Connor in the mix. To be fair, I know, Connor, there's probably an argument to say that you should be up top somewhere. And maybe when Dan Potts comes in, we might do a little bit of rejigging. But we've got Connor repping Arsenal as usual. We've got Tom Little in the building. I've got man like Pedro back again after making his debut last week. And Teza returns to the Red Cartel. And just like that, we've got Dan Potts. All right, maybe I will rejig it now a little bit, actually. I'll put the Arsenal boys right front and centre on it. And I'll keep the Liverpool lads, yeah. I like it when it's like this, to be fair. This makes more sense. Yeah, boy. How are we then, lads? How's everybody feeling? Been a good week?
Yeah, man, all good.
All good.
Good stuff. Well, look, the Premier League is hotting up. And the question on the thumbnail there is, will Liverpool bounce back? Now, Liverpool have been in a slump for a number of weeks. We spent October licking our wounds. It felt as if we dropped off a cliff. It almost felt as if there was sections of a Liverpool fan base that were starting to doubt whether Arne Slot would be able to recover Liverpool's form and get them challenging again in time for a title race or Champions League, whatever that looked like. However, how different football fans can feel after 2 wins and potentially 2 massive wins. First at Aston Villa Saturday night, and then Real Madrid. Yes, the Real Madrid. We beat them 1-0 at Anfield midweek. And I think that was probably one of our best performances, if not the best performance so far of this season. But I'll open it up and I'll ask Tom first. Tom, what have you made of this recent turn of form from Liverpool's perspective?
It's not surprised me as much as it surprised others because I didn't think our problems were really that deep-rooted.
Okay.
I felt that a lot of our problems were just were the basics of football. And if your players start performing slightly better and doing the basics slightly better, a lot gets fixed. You know, obviously it's helped that tactically, you know, he's went back to the midfield that worked last season and they know how to play together and I back that midfield against pretty much any midfield on the planet. But in terms of just like, you know, we're winning second balls again. The press is better. We're not conceding the first goal, which is, I think, the biggest catalyst for why those games went so badly wrong for us. We could have went into those games with a fantastic plan for how to pick apart these teams, and then we're 1-0 down inside 15 minutes, and the plan's got to go out the window because we've got to chase the game. So just getting that control back in these games goes a long way, because if you watch the Real Madrid game, we grew into that one. The Villa game, we grew into that one. We need a little bit of time for the players to enact the plan almost, and we haven't given ourselves that opportunity in other games. But the last 2 especially, we've done that, and we've built on those performances as the game's gone on. So I don't think it's massively shocking for me. I think it was just getting the basics done, winning your second balls, having a bit of fight about finishing your chances, which is another one. You know, we're starting bar Thibaut Courtois having a fucking worldie.
That was up there with Alisson's PSG performance, that at Dergaff.
It was up there with Thibaut Courtois' last performance against us.
Yeah,
he just don't like us for whatever reason. But we're doing the basics right again. Tactically, the manager got it spot on across both games in terms of identifying the weaknesses of oppositions, as he would do, which is why I felt anyone that said Arne Slot out was mental. And, you know, I said like 2 weeks ago now that this run before the international break where we play Villa, Real Madrid and Man City, that'd be a big one for us, because I think that's a chance for us to really sort of put a marker down and get the momentum back in this season. And the momentum's back after 2 games. If you get it over the line against Man City on Sunday, it's well and truly back, and we're talking about, you know, it really just being a blip and what can we do from this point on. So I'm very happy. I've got a lot of confidence about the way that we're playing, the way certain players are playing, and what we can do this weekend and beyond.
Okay, I'll come to the Man United lads before I go to Arsenal, because Arsenal are obviously very much in a title race. They're in pole position at the moment. They're in the driving seat. Teza, Pedro, Liverpool in the last week. Would you say that this has been the right type of bounce back, or are you thinking that the form is just going to be continue to be indifferent? They're going to be good weeks, coupled in with bad weeks, coupled in with good weeks, and Liverpool's season is going to continue that pattern.
So, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. In terms of Liverpool, obviously, I think what's probably favoured them is playing bigger games. It's playing the likes of Real Madrid and Villa at home, and then you've got City coming up as well, because it's meant the teams that they've played recently are going to come to them and try and play football rather than maybe block the space or try and go long to kind of create a bit more of a battle. It's been a little bit more of a football game, and that suits Liverpool a lot more, especially with, I think, Slot reverting back to just what was tried and tested last season is probably calm things down a little bit. Obviously, there's been injuries, so he hasn't been able to play like Frimpong and Isak, etc. But
I think that's made his life a bit easier as well, though, I'll be honest with you, Teza.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think because he's realised, actually, I don't actually have that decision to pick one or the other. It's like, these are the players who are fit. Let's go into the game. Let's go back to what was tried and tested last season. And it's kind of worked for them a little, for a little bit. In terms of whether it will continue, probably, because I think the blip that you've had was nobody probably saw it coming. And I think as the season now goes on, the only time you might have another blip is when Salah goes to AFCON, because probably your team shape might have to change a little bit. But that's something that the manager probably knew already, because he already knew what was coming up in December and January. But in terms of does the form continue? Yeah, potentially. It will be a tough game against City, though. So, I mean, but again, City will probably come and try and play football. So that will probably suit Liverpool.
Okay. Pedro, what are your thoughts, your initial thoughts? Is this just a bit of a flash in the pan, or do you think Liverpool are serious again in the way that they'll approach and attack the rest of the season?
For me, for Liverpool, it's just a case of having a settled team now. So Teza made the point, going back to what Andy Slot did last season with the team that he had, keeping that consistent team starting now, barring any injuries, is what's important. So momentum is a big thing in football. So after winning 2 games, obviously against Real Madrid and Aston Villa, Man City, they'll come out and play, especially with it being at the Etihad as well. So I feel like that would favour Liverpool in a way, because there's going to be spaces for them to play. And with the confidence that they've got now, and Salah obviously showing glimpses of what he can do, I feel like that's going to spur the team on. And the games as well, the games have favoured them being at Anfield. So with that big crowd behind them and the moment that they were in at that time, it's definitely the games that they've had, it's definitely come at the right time for them. So in terms of whether they're still in the rut or not, I would say it just depends on what team he puts out between now and probably before Salah goes to the AFCON as well. That's really going to define what happens throughout this period, I think. So, yeah, that's my thought.
Okay. I'm going to go to the Arsenal lads, and I'm going to frame it to you slightly differently. Potts, are you scared of us yet this season?
No, man. Real talk. I don't fear anyone. I don't fear anyone, man. The way we're playing, I think everyone's... no one wants to play Arsenal right now. And I understand why. We're not conceding goals. We're looking strong. We're looking solid, right? As for Liverpool, I don't really know why any Slot didn't start like this, to be fair, and mould in the new signings. When you chuck in 5 or 6 new lads, it ain't gonna be good. No matter how good they are. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what's been levelled at me though, Potts? So, because I agree with that, but a lot of fans from that obviously don't have the same view as a Liverpool perspective are like, well, look at what Sunderland have done. They went and got a whole new
and
team.
you know what?
And look at what Forrest did last season. And I think for a club of that size, with not as much pressure and expectation, not forking out the big bills that they have for their players, yes, sometimes you can just get an overhaul of players and they just like to be in a new setting and just hit the ground running. But when you're under the spotlight in the way that you are at any of the big 6 clubs,
the shirt is heavy.
Well, exactly, Pedro, the shirt's heavy, but how often have Liverpool really, or any of the big 6 teams, done a massive overhaul and it all hit the ground running straight away?
Yeah, and I think Bournemouth.
I do think Arne Slot was forced into it a bit though. Like
The injuries.
Because he had no right. So Frimpong, he might not have wanted to start straight away, but Bradley missed up pretty much all the pre-season, so Frimpong had to play. And then he got injured, which then meant that we couldn't take Florian Wirtz out because Szoboszlai was at right back and he's the other 10. And then McAllister was injured for the start of the season as well. So we didn't exactly have the midfielders to take Wirtz out the team. And we're obviously going to have to play a striker of sorts because we don't have any of the ones from last season left. The only position he's really had the luxury with it is Kerkez and Robertson at left back. And that's the one position he hasn't done it right.
And I think he got it wrong. I think that was the big one.
That's
really
the one he hasn't
wrong.
done right. The rest I've got a lot of sympathy for him because it's not like... Because when he got the midfielders back, he didn't play Wirtz. And everyone started going, why is he not playing Wirtz? You paid 120 million quid for him. I feel like he was just forced a little bit into it at the start because of injuries and players not having the full pre-season. Ironically, the one position he didn't need to do it, he got it wrong. So
the only thing I'll say, Tom, is your fans need to be careful because we didn't get that last year. We didn't get that. Oh, we've got a bit of sympathy because we've got some injuries out. Like you got to deal with it, man. Like you spent 500 odd million. Do you know what I mean? Like no one can feel sorry for you. Like, do you know what I mean? I was bless Liverpool. They'll have to play Wirtz. Or bless Liverpool, they have to play Isak or Ekatike. Like I'm not feeling too sorry because we know we were told to shut up and go.
I feel like that's where it's gone wrong though with football talk now because like I'm not saying you're doing it, Potts, but I feel like when you explain something and explain this is why it's gone the way it has, you now want why you're excusing it. I'm not excusing it. He could have done fucking a lot of things differently. He's had Joe Gomez fit all fucking season. You can play him, but an explanation is. That's where it's gone wrong for him.
And that's the difference, though. That's the difference. Because if you're explaining the reasons you've not won the game, that's not making excuses for how we're supposed to win. Because look at our squad. That's a different thing. So, like, if you're saying, for example, well, we can't hardly put 11 together here, that's why we're not going to win. Well, that's not actually true, is it? It's just that you've got your squad, you've now got to utilise it. And Slot's not done a very good job at the start of the first few games of it. Now, what I will say is I've watched Liverpool in the last couple of games and you've looked like the old self. Because your old players are now back in your system. You get it. Looks like watching Liverpool similarly to last season. I actually didn't watch the whole of the Real Madrid game, but from what I hear, you comfortably should have won by more. And I obviously watched you against Villa. And although I thought Villa were a little bit poor in parts, I thought Liverpool were clear, if I'm honest. I think the one positive if I'm a Liverpool fan looking at it, is obviously, other than you now look like the last couple have been better. I think Dominic Szoboszlai has been unbelievably good. Like, really good. Like, I think he's been absolutely...
Do you think he's going under the radar, Potter? Do you think...
big time, man. Big time, man. Big time. And I wasn't a massive fan of him. I can't lie. I wasn't. I looked at him last season and I thought, yeah, he's all right. But I didn't really get the whole hype. I never thought he was anywhere near the level of McAllister or Gravenberch. But I think he's been better than both of them this season. By quite some distance, to be fair. And I think
Slot was the same as you, Potts, last season. I think he thought Szoboszlai would be the one that would drop out, and he's kind of had been burnt by the form because now he can't drop him.
But the thing is, Errol, what I've seen from Szoboszlai, he's always had technical ability. Szoboszlai, even when you bought him, everyone was like, "Oh, good player." But I think his leadership has really showed, in my opinion. Yeah. I feel like he's kind of led Liverpool in the last few games, and I feel like he's been the one to rely upon. And obviously, you've looked at Van Dijk and other players, and you've looked at the big players in your side, like Salah, over the years that have got you out of the mess. But I kind of feel like he's dragged you over some games. I really do. And I never thought I'd see that from him. I mean, he plays fullback if you need him to. He's in the midfield playing defensive or attacking. I think he's been excellent for you, man, I must say. And I don't think people have spoken about that enough because everyone's too busy talking about Wirtz and stuff. And obviously, Gravenberch is the guy that everyone loves. But actually, Szoboszlai has been better than Gravenberch. Well, I don't watch Liverpool like you two, but you tell me. From what I can see, Szoboszlai has been
my player of the season so far.
Easily the best player of the season. And I thought Conor Bradley had a good game the other night. He's a player that I don't think is good enough for Liverpool. I've got to be honest. I don't think he is. I think he's a squad player at best. But I thought he played very well from what I understand the other night. So I think Liverpool will get there, man. They're too good not to. It's going to click. It's just when. And what you do, and I'll end on this, you need it to click bloody soon. Otherwise, it could be that Arsenal, and I hope that, touch wood, we're 10, 11, 12 points ahead of you. But you do click because we're going to need that little lead, in my opinion. It's always nice. But I do think that you guys, you're going to have that pressure on because of your summer. If you didn't have the summer, you might be able to go, you know what, Liverpool, they've not had it as easy as last season. But when you've come in and brought the players in that you have, some of which have looked horrific, I've got to be honest, they have. And for the money I mean, I really liked Kirkes at Bournemouth, but my God, what have you bought? It looks an absolute mess. Obviously, Frimpong's hardly really kicked the ball because of his injuries. Wirtz, we all know about. There's no point talking about, although I understand he was better on the left against Real Madrid. And Isak, it's just, let's be real, Isak is going to be quality, but how you can keep him fit. And Newcastle fans said, if it's only his injuries that lets him down, once he's fit, he'll bang. So I don't think it's just doom and gloom. Your fans are a bit mad, Errol. I can't lie. Your fans are
weird, bro. It's been such a weird time, but that's the online football fan community.
I feel like a lot of the fans handle the pressure of having a big window. So when you have a big window, it comes with the pressure of, well, we need to see instant results, and ignoring context around what happened, and ignoring context in games of, like, I know it sounds stupid. We lost, what was it, 6 out of 7 or something? I think we were hard done by in some of them games. I think we were a bit unlucky in some of them. And on another day, it goes a different way. So it wasn't like we were getting played off the park every single game. But I feel like a lot of the fans...
Pulling that slot out, Tom, already, like, within, like...
Yeah, because they couldn't handle the pressure. So they saw us go through a bad run, and they realised we spent a lot of money, went, it's got to be the manager then, without understanding that certain places...
Callum actually said bring in Gerrard. I couldn't believe it. I clipped him up.
No. He deserves to be clipped up for saying shit like that.
I clipped him up, man.
Yeah. Errol, just a question for you guys. Obviously, Wirtz played on the left, and I just seen Tez's tweet, and I was speaking to a couple of the guys at work today about Wirtz. So, would you keep him in that position for the foreseeable future, or would you move him back into the centre?
So, for me, I want that midfield 3 of last season to remain that midfield 3. Provided McAllister is now fully up to fitness and he's up to speed, McAllister, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch make up that 3 for me. Premier League. So I'm talking every single weekend, I want to see those 3 in the middle of the park for me. After 60, 70 minutes, if Wirtz has to be introduced into a game, if he's not starting off the left, if Gakpo holds down the position, then so be it. I put a tweet out, I can't remember when it was, but it was early into the season, and one of my comments was, Wirtz is the type of player that will make us shine in the Champions League this year. Yeah. And so far, his best performances have been in the Champions League for us. Now, if that means he has to start off the left-hand side to warrant a place, or he goes into the middle in those Champions League games, I don't mind it. But just for continuity across the Premier League, that midfield has got the workmanship, they've got that little bit of bite about them, they've got that, you can put the output in terms of the engines that individually they've all got, and they understand the roles and responsibilities and the gaps that they need to plug in as and when they need to do it. So I wouldn't change that yet. While again, our margin for error now is so thin compared to obviously the lead that Arsenal are continuing to grow on us. We have to have that continuity of such a high standard if we want to try and get ourselves back in the conversation. I'll touch on this though. What I said, I was just doing a show with LB there, Potts. We did a little preview for the game, and he basically alluded to the same thing from a City's perspective and a Liverpool perspective. It will click. Pep will get it right. Slot will get it right. It's just how far off are Arsenal are both of those clubs as and when that time comes. I'll ask you this, Connor. Right now, Liverpool and City both still only second and third in the table, but still a little bit away from being at their absolute best. Is there any one of those two teams you are more confident going up against if a push came to shove and a title race presented itself in the here and now?
Yeah. And honestly, it's probably you guys at the moment, just because City have this horrible way of just finding a way. They could be having what would seem like the worst season ever for them, and then they'll go on a 20-game win streak where all of a sudden they're blowing teams out of the water, and it's worrying to watch when they're the ones chasing you down. But it's a weird place in the table at the moment. Obviously, we're what, 6 points clear of City, 7 clear of you, Sunderland, and Bournemouth. By the way, how crazy is that? Are we
level on points with Sunderland and Bournemouth?
We are 25% through the season. And you guys, Sunderland and Bournemouth are all level on
18 points, yeah. Tottenham are on 17 points and Chelsea are on 17 with United as well.
Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. But
we were on 15 points after 5 games.
I know.
Just a question for Arsenal
Fucking
fans. In terms of obviously you guys being the leader, do you think Arteta's kind of learned from what's happening past years in terms of obviously leading the race? Because we've seen on several occasions now that when push has come to shove, they've crumbled under pressure. So do you think he's learned a lesson?
To be honest with you, bro, I can't lie. We've been the chasers and failed, and we've been chasing and failed. So I can't really say that.
So what would you rather be?
Either. I'd rather be ahead. Of course I would. I'd rather be ahead. I think that if we get to 9, 10, or dare I say it, more points ahead, and I wouldn't want to be Mikel Arteta in May. Like I wouldn't want to be him in May. I think it would be a rough ending for him. However, I do think this time the squad is just way too good, because let's be realistic for a moment. Yes, 100%. I'm one of the worst for calling out Mikel in terms of the last 5 years for not winning trophies, right? But if I said to you now, Saliba goes down, Rob Holding's coming in, you're all going to giggle, right? This time Saliba comes down, we've got Mosquera. We've got Nkapie. We've got Ben White. We've got Lewis Skelly. Calafiori's there. I feel like the defense is absolutely stacked. Then we go into midfield. You've got the squad depth of Zubimendi and Rice. You've obviously got Mikel Merino. You've got Eford and Max that are coming through. You've got Eza and Erdegaard. And through the front line, we've just received the news that Jesus is back. Havertz is coming back after the international break on top of Gyökeres and Merino, who's obviously our striker at the moment. And that's without Saka, Madueke, who's also coming back, Martinelli and Trossard. So right now, the squad is as strong as it's been since it was at Highbury. If we did lose any player, the only one I'd be like, that's a massive shame, is Declan Rice, because I don't think we have a replacement for him. I feel like we have pretty much a replacement for everyone. Yes, the drop-off's there, but it's not like, Saka's out Sterling, or Saka's out Nelson, or Fabi Vieira, or Lokonga, or Tavares, or one of these guys. Now we've actually got players that are looking at Premier League quality. So I think our squad's better than Liverpool's. Some people might disagree. I think Liverpool might, when everyone's fit, have a better 11. But I certainly don't think they've got a better squad. I looked at their bench and we played them, and I was like, yeah, I'm taking our squad all day. Our bench is levels over theirs. Same as Manchester City. I think they've got an excellent spine. Maybe they've got a better 11 in terms of like individuals. You could do combined 11s and maybe you get 6 on 5 another. Same with Liverpool's, right? But in terms of the squads, I don't think anyone can deny we got the best squad. So I don't think there's any excuses for Mikel now. I think Arteta's got to get across the line.
Are you winning Champions League as well, or is it just Prem?
Whoa! Let's just take the league one step. No, I think that. Look, I think
interesting that you want to be the leader, because I can't lie. I know we've only ever won a title in the Premier League era when we're miles ahead, but we've had both. So in 18-19, we were the leaders for a long time, and then we just kind of threw it away with shit draws in like February, March. But the season that I felt was a lot better was 21-22. We were 13 points behind. Like when we got going, but when you're that far behind, there's zero pressure, and you can just sit. Your team can just go out there and do what they need to do. And if you back your team to go on a run like that, you'll find that gap close quite quick. So it's interesting to me that you'd want to be ahead, because I felt when you were the chasers. Because you've also done the same thing, that the one where you were the leaders in like 22-23 for 200 odd days, and then the season after you were doing chasing for the most part. I felt you were better when you were chasing.
I agree.
Was that the season you had the dead long run where like you only lost to Villa and won the rest?
Yeah, but the thing is, 20.
I think the difference as well with that, I think people forget, is 22-23, we were leading by 8 points or whatever it was, but although we bottled it, and we did, you can't not bottle it when you're that far ahead. I look at we were supposed to be getting into the top 4 that year. Like, that team was never ready to win a league ahead of Manchester City, who just won a treble that year, right? So I look at it differently a little bit. And the other thing is, I really want Manchester City to lose at the weekend, because I've got too much PTSD. With them.
Same question to you, then, Potts. Are you also saying you'd rather Liverpool be the team in this title race with you this season?
100%, man. I don't want Pep and Haaland, man. I don't want that again. I had that for 2 years. It was horrible. So, when you win 16 games out of 17 and you lose it, I'm like, yeah, I can't go up against that again. So I know it's a different.
Try winning 17 out of 17 and still not getting the fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. Try getting 97 points and not winning it. Exactly. So that's why I don't want to come up against them, really. I appreciate it's not the same Man City, and they still do look vulnerable a little bit. But I feel like, you know, either or, it's not great, because I think when Liverpool click, I think they could be great, and you were my favourites to win it. But right now, the way that Arsenal are playing, I do fancy us against anyone. I've just got to be honest. I'm never normally one to get my chest out, as you know, but I just think the way that we're playing at the moment, I don't think it's unjustifiable. Do you know what I'm saying? To say that right now, I think
the body of work you've put in, it's been exceptional. As I say, I think you can't banter Arsenal Football Club or the fan base at this moment in time, because, you know, defensively, you're resolute, you aren't leaking goals. I don't even say necessarily criticism. The one thing the two things for me that are going to really be big indicators for how successful Arsenal's season are going to be is the integration of the old guard of injury players that have been out of the squad for a number of months now, how he reintegrates them, and who then has to drop out, and how does that affect the balance of things. And then I know people have made a big deal out of these set-piece goals, but in the event that the set-piece goals dry up, do you have enough firepower in open play or finding other ways to still get it over the line? And those are going to be the big indicators for me. If I start to see 3 weeks of Arsenal not scoring any set-piece goals, but just blow teams away and score 2 or 3, I'm going to start thinking differently. If I start seeing Havertz, Jesus, other players coming back into the squad all of a sudden, and they hit the ground running, and it doesn't disturb the balance, I'm going to think squad-wise, I completely agree with Dan Potts. Squad, they've got an unbelievable squad because everybody's chipping in and everybody's.
I think that's the only question mark around Arsenal at the minute. I can't take away from the set pieces because it's such an incredible weapon.
Yeah.
But in the games where I've seen them be nullified, do you have the answer? And there's been games where you have. There has been. But your loss this season to us was fucking drab, because there was nothing created. Against City, I felt like at times you just ran out of ideas, and it was just sort of, fuck, what do? We can't. And it took a brilliant goal. It was a fantastic pass and a brilliant chip. But it was the fact that in the 25, 30, 35, 40 minutes before that, it felt like it was just Arsenal going, fuck, what do we do here? We're not finding the way.
The biggest difference with those two is you've just named two of the best teams. And Arsenal aren't going to play many teams as good as Liverpool and City this season. Maybe in the Champions League they will. And on top of that as well, Arsenal defensively, even if they don't score the goals, they're more likely to not concede than Liverpool and City, in my opinion.
I agree.
We've been doing this with 10 men. Raya's on a fucking 0 hours contract.
Hold on a minute. Arsenal didn't concede a goal in October.
Conceded one target in 6 games as well. That's why I'm saying that.
Fucking hell.
The only shot on target as well was that Nketiah one that Raya plunked onto his head.
Yeah, so even though it seems unsustainable in terms of how they're scoring goals, when you're not even conceding shots on target, it's like a completely different stratosphere. And I feel like why Arsenal will probably get... I don't know whether they'll get better, but I think they'll be able to kind of sustain this is because Arsenal haven't yet had 11 where all the players are fit. And it'd be really interesting to see what that looks like, because I think in the earlier games, Arteta was basically chastised for being a bit too defensive. You know, they'll say Marino.
Overly cautious.
Marino, Zubamendi, and also Rice playing. But I think he hasn't had for a consistent period of time Odegaard and Eze fit, and Saka fit, and Martinelli fit, and Gyökeres fit, and maybe Jesus and Havertz. And I think because there's too many of them to leave out, I'd like to see how Arsenal then do that. I actually think
that's where I think there's going to be the issue, that blending in. And I don't know, and that's an Arteta problem for me, Potts, and I don't know if you agree with this, but it's the concept of he likes Havertz. He likes what he's able to do, and it doesn't necessarily mean he's better than Gyökeres. It doesn't mean he's a better goal scorer. He likes Odegaard. He likes what he's able to do. But the likes of Madueke came in and delivered. There are players that have come in and done reasonably well. Eze, Madueke, taken out of the squad. But when those other guys come back, do they just drop in? But those lads that he's going to drop in are going to be the ones he trusts, but aren't necessarily the ones that have got him over the line to this point.
But it's a good problem to have for Mikel, to be honest with you, because the guys who are coming back have to earn the place back in the team. So, for example, for me, Odegaard, he's not really captain material in my opinion, but him walking back into the starting 11, would that make sense? And who would you take out?
Potts, you know your manager better than most of us. Can you see him just throwing Odegaard straight back in?
He's the only one, I think, out of everyone else.
I think
I think he throws Havertz back in. You know, I think at the minute he's asking Gyökeres to do a lot of what Havertz does.
I think Odegaard is obviously going to, because he's the captain. That's like a clear one that he absolutely loves. Havertz is a very interesting one because he loves him. He absolutely loves him. And I think he will find a place for him. I hope it isn't in midfield.
I hope it's on the bench.
Yeah, same. And I'm more than happy for that, Connor, as well, for him to come on. I'm absolutely no problem with him, different dimension. But right now, I think he'll play a few games because we're hearing that Gyökeres is out, and obviously it might be out for Chelsea and Tottenham. I'm hoping he's back after the international break, but he's not travelled with Sweden, so I have to see. But I think it's a nice problem to have on with Pedro. I think as well that people have forgotten the amount of injuries we had. Like last season, we'd be absolutely dead by now if we would have had 6 attackers out. It would have been like, oh my god, who the hell are we going to play? Like we'd have had to play Raheem Sterling and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So right now, I think when you look at Madueke coming back, Odegaard coming back, Martinelli coming back, obviously Havertz coming back, Jesus coming back, it's like, okay, we've got 5 attacking players there that we're still bringing on Max Dalman, Ethan Wanyeri. We've still got Trossard. We've still got, Ezra. We've still got Saka. Marino's been playing up top, obviously, at the moment, and will continue to do that, I believe, tomorrow night. So I think when you look at the squad, I think it's a nice problem to have for Arteta, man. So that's on him, 100%.
Do you not actually think that having Havertz or Jesus back and Gyökeres not being the starting striker is better for Gyökeres because he struggles sometimes when he starts? He's fighting with defenders a lot, and having a Gyökeres last 15-20 when the defence are tired and there's a bit more space to run into will probably be beneficial for him. Because personally, I think he's a decent player, but I don't think his all-round gameplay is anywhere near as some of the other strikers in the top 6. But I mean, hey, he's your striker, isn't he? So yeah.
He reminds me a bit of Højlund from last year. It feels like he just goes into physical battles with no rhyme or reason at times, and he doesn't win many of them. From what I heard about when he was this physical monster who would just bully centre-backs, yet whenever I've seen him
in the Premier League,
it's like whenever he goes, them fucking stupid channel runs he does, where like he runs in the channel and then a defender follows him over. The moment there's a bit of contact, he goes down, and the refs just sort of look at him going, how the fuck's he done that to you? He can't do that. That's not a foul.
Gyökeres' biggest thing is his balance. Anytime, and I've commented it so many times, every single time he shoots, he's either halfway in.
Oh, yeah, he looks like he's falling over.
Or he's falling over. And I think that adds to the fact that he's always running and spinning because his game, and a lot of his game, because I watched quite a bit of him at Sporting, because obviously he was kind of linked with United, was on the halfway line. If he can get 1v1 with you on that left channel coming inside, he'll burst past players. But again, as Pedro just said, this is the Premier League and not Liga NOS. And also, teams aren't going to give him that space because they know that he's dangerous in those areas. So his game will have to change. And fair play to him, he's been playing consistently and he has scored a few goals. But I think him coming off the bench, not all the time, in certain circumstances, might help him because he'll find a little bit more space, especially in and around the box.
Okay. I think so far, I don't think I've been massively convinced myself, but I look at the
goals. Would the Arsenal fans change the striker they bought in the summer if they could?
Would you take Isak instead if you could?
Isak's by the by. I think everyone would have took Isak.
I think everyone would take Isak. But out of the options,
would you take Sesko ahead of Gyökeres?
No,
if you could have went back and done it.
You taking us? What about Osimhen? What about Osimhen, guys? That's right.
Osimhen was there was only really 4 strikers I wanted. Osimhen was actually one. Gyökeres was another, and the other 2 were Julian Alvarez and Isak. They were the only 4 I wanted. I didn't want Benjamin Sesko. I didn't want Retegui.
I was going to ask you about Ekitike then.
What about Ekitike? Because he seems like
Ekitike,
an
no, I didn't.
Arsenal
But
forward.
I've been impressed by him. I've been impressed more by Ekitike than I have Sesko. Sesko, I don't really get it, if I'm honest. But apparently, he's been brilliant for United. I'm still yet to see him score more than a couple of goals. But I'm struggling to see how Sesko's better than Gyökeres at the moment. But
Sesko hasn't started anywhere near as many games than Gyökeres this season, and also Sesko is 4 or 5 years younger, and on top of that as well, in terms of his all-round gameplay, what Sesko's asked to do in comparison to Gyökeres, his game is cleaner. For Gyökeres, he gets a bit of a bye because he's playing for such a dominant team. So even if he loses the ball in a duel or in a channel, he's able to have that chance 2-3 times. But I think if Gyökeres was playing...
You're basically saying that Arsenal's midfield can win the ball back more than United's midfield can.
Yeah, that's part
It's
of
true.
it.
It's true.
If Arsenal striker fucks up, Zubimendi, Rice, Eze, Odegaard, they're there to sweep up. If fucking Sesko fucks up,
There's a big hole.
It's Ugarte,
I wanted to check based on the conversation we had earlier as well. Are these explanations or excuses?
No, mine's not that one. Mine's not that one. Excuse, because my
That's what you need it to be.
You've got him on the You've got him on the back foot with that.
It's what you need it to be.
My baseline point was and I've tweeted about it and stuff. I wanted United to get Ekitike because I thought the way he plays and his ability will be suited for how United play, and also I think he'll score a lot of goals. I wasn't 100% sold on Sesko, but I think he's a decent player. But he wasn't my choice if I had to pick. But from watching him, I can see that his all-round game is a little bit cleaner than what I thought initially. So what I'm saying is, I think because Gyökeres' game isn't as tidy, if you put Gyökeres in that United team, he would look a lot worse. Yes. Because Arsenal are a superior team, they have better players, especially in the defensive and midfield areas than United. Even if he loses the ball, he gets more opportunity to do that thing again. Whereas Sesko and United in some games will sit back, or in some phases of play we're sitting deeper. So we need him to be as good as he can.
I think it depends.
Yes, did he score more goals? Obviously,
I was going to say this, but it comes back to horses for courses, because Arsenal's main objective is win now. And if it takes Benjamin Sesko another 2 seasons,
it's going to take Sesko 3 years or whatever. I don't want that, man.
You wouldn't want it right now.
I need
kicking
it now,
the can
man.
Down the road. Exactly.
Yeah.
We will come back to a little debate.
Great. I'll say that. I don't think Gyökeres has been great, but I think he scored 7 goals in like 14. So it's not like, wow, this guy can't do anything. Like, I think we treat him like a bit of a donkey.
It's the type of goal, though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, but
I'm not asking me. As long as it goes over
I know, but
like you win the league, but you didn't really score the right, and there weren't really the nice goals we like to win the league.
But they're not coming in the decisive moment, really. That's more so what I'm trying to.
My worry with Gyökeres, it's against the bigger teams. So the guys who are coming back, Havertz, Jesus, when it comes to playing in Man City or let's say Liverpool down the line, I think he actually starts with one of them rather than him starting with
that
Gyökeres.
could be true. That could be true.
Because if you need that, do you don't think?
No, I do think that. But I was going to say, I think Gyökeres' MO is to blow away all the little teams. So
that's why they bought him. Yeah.
Everyone was telling me we just want him to score against West Ham. The Palaces of this world, the Brightons. He didn't score against either of them. But that was the modus operandi. That's what they wanted him for anyway. I
think it's like a little bit harsh. I'll stick up for him a bit because I think it's like I know you scored, but we didn't really like the goal you scored, and we didn't really like who it was against. I think he got 2 against Atletico Madrid. They're a pretty good side. He's obviously scored against Leeds and Forrest and Burnley, so now everyone's going to poo-poo it. But
but I do stand by the Forrest one. We're not including any goals against Forrest and Postecoglou as manager. That's like a fucking fever dream, and nothing counts in that time.
This is what I mean.
But by the way, I'm fuming.
I don't know what Tom's expecting him to do.
I'm holding this anger all season, by the way. My team never got to play either one of Graham Potter's West Ham or Ange Postecoglou's Nottingham Forest. We missed both of them. And we've now got to play the fucking shithouse versions of them. Who's just going to sit back 9 fuckers behind the ball and defend.
And just camp.
You've got enough quality to beat them, man. Trust me, they're rubbish.
I'm gonna put a pin in the striker debate for the time being because I want to end the show on a midfielder debate. So we'll just start, or we'll pick back up on what Tessa was saying about United there. Look, you've just picked up manager of the month in Amorim. You've got player of the month in Mbuemo.
How?
Well, this is the question. Manchester United resurgence now, is this now sustainable? And
Errol.
more to the point though, lads. Is
Yeah.
he worthy of being manager of the month? You just heard what Mikel Arteta did for October. No goals conceded. There's been some other good managers. Ariola's done well. The Sunderland managers obviously got them competing at a height he probably wasn't expecting at the start of the season. Where does loving for Amorim come from all of a sudden, lads? I'll let the
Errol,
United lads go
in
first.
terms of the fixtures that United have had against Liverpool, no one expected United to win that game.
Okay.
Against Brighton, our bogey team, no one expected us to win that game as well. So if we're looking at the grand scheme of things in terms of the games we had, we weren't supposed to win them games. So I think it's kind of a sympathy manager of the month, because the last game that we had against Nottingham Forest, I said it last week, we struggle when it comes to playing teams who are physical. So against Tottenham, example for tomorrow, I feel like depending on what Spurs turn up, we might struggle against Spurs physically because they play high line, okay? And in terms of who probably starts, I'm saying we should start with Mason Mount, personally, because he's just a little bit better at pressing, and that's what I feel like we need. But in terms of, just going back to your point about Amorim getting manager of the month, it's the wrong decision for me. But I can see why he was giving it as well.
Okay.
In terms of Mbuemo, I've got no issues with Mbuemo. Like, at the start, when we first signed him, I was actually saying we should have gone for Mohamed Kudus. Tezza's going to laugh at me, but we should have went for Kudus instead. But I didn't quite watch the player and see exactly what he was capable of when he was playing at Brentford. So he's kind of blown me away. So I'm happy with the signing. He deserves it as well. So yeah,
I think Mbuemo's a fair shout. I think he's looked like he's the type of player. Do you know what it reminds me of? When Liverpool signed Mane. Signed Mane, and we really needed somebody in that attack line to really drive us forward with some real quality. And all of a sudden, Mane just came in, and he was just an absolute beast for us. Like, he knew what he wanted to do. He was unpredictable. He was strong. He had the finish on him. He could assist. He could drop the shoulder. There was so much like quality in his bag that at any moment you felt like everything needed to go through him. And then that first season, he played out on the right. And then when Salah came in, he goes over to the left, and he just continued. For me, it almost feels like that type of signing where he's going to be the cornerstone of whatever iteration happens with Manchester United here from going on forward. He will be a large part of that. Tezza, what's your take on the last month from United's perspective?
Bit similar to Pedro's, where I think, wasn't expecting to go to Anfield and win. Wasn't really.
I love the birthday message as well afterwards for that one, bro.
No worries, man. Just have to check. But yeah, I wasn't really too expecting that. And then again with Brighton at home, I mean, United haven't beaten Brighton at home for the past like 4 seasons or so. So again, that was a nice change because we built on momentum instead of previously winning a game, losing a game, or winning a game, drawing a game, losing a game. It was good to actually have 3 wins back to back. I think against Forest, United probably struggled a little bit. Yes, on the physicality, what Pedro was saying, but a little bit more because there was periods of the time in the game where United had a lot of the ball. And I think sometimes we're not at that level yet where we are kind of dominant in terms of let's take the game to the opposition. I think we still play in moments. There's moments where...
Tezza, with that, it's just about game management. It's about game management. That's why in that moment, Bruno Fernandes, one of the captains, should have stood up and actually got the team together and just be like, throughout this period, when we conceded the first goal, let's just manage this situation. But yeah,
maybe
quick fire goals that you see. So
the difference is that when we conceded 2 against Forest early on in the season or last season, that game would have finished 3-1 to Forest rather than United going, you know what, actually, there's still 25 minutes to go. Let's pin them back. And then even though, yes, it was a sloppy second half, nearly won the game in the last kick. And yes, performance-wise, you want it to be better and you want the team to be able to be on the front foot a bit more. But at the end of the day, if United had won that game, we would have been, second place right now? 5 points off Arsenal? And people would have been talking completely different. And those are the fine margins. And I'm not saying that I haven't changed my complete tune and think Amorim's amazing. But I've come to the realization that he plays a very specific way and the players have to buy into that. And there's not going to be much change until we get different players. But even if we get different players, we're still going to play in this manner. So I think...
There's a question to you, brother. Don't you think there's a bit of an over-reliance on Casemiro? Because we had the debate the other day. I think Casemiro's actually United's most important player. Because if you take him out of the team, there's no one else who can do his role as effective as... If you take Mbuemo out of the team, you can put Amad Diallo there. But Casemiro, you take him out of the team, you can't play Menu there, you can't play Ugarte there, because they're just not as effective as Casemiro's been. So do you think there's an over-reliance right now on Casemiro?
There is an over-reliance, yeah, but at the same time, playing one game a week for the whole season, and Casemiro sometimes doesn't finish every single game. He gets taken off 70, 75, especially in the last couple of games when we've been in the lead. We've been able to kind of protect him a little bit. I think that's why there's been so many links to bringing in another midfielder. The biggest issue with United and relying on Casemiro is because the manager wants specific things from the two midfielders, and at the moment in the squad, in the first team squad, those two are the only two who can do that. That's partly why Maino can play, not because Casemiro is playing so well or Bruno's playing so well, like the manager's saying. It's because the role is predetermined rather than the player's quality. So if Maino comes...
Do you think Maino goes in January?
I think he should.
He's going to have, if he wants to go to the World Cup, lad, he's going to have to do something.
You can't start the Euros final and then
not be in a World Cup squad at all.
But the issue is, if he goes, then United bring in a midfielder and that midfielder starts playing more than Maino, it causes a big issue because the manager's then contradicted what he's saying.
Yeah, true.
Because the manager's saying that Maino, yes, he's training well and he deserves to play, but we haven't got enough games, and these two starting ahead of him are doing so well, so I can't change him. But then...
Teza, what do we do with that issue? Because there's a lot of people asking for him to play, but where do you fit him in? Because in the current formation system, it is pretty difficult to see him start for United at the moment. So what do you do?
I mean, it depends on who we're able to bring in. If we are able to bring in someone, I don't think it's going to be a big money signing. I think it'll be a loan signing. And I think if the player is that unhappy, and because even when he comes on now, you can see he's void of confidence. And this role, him being the backup to Bruno, him and Bruno play completely different. So you're asking him to do stuff that Bruno does well, is not even getting the best out of him. So personally, I think if you're not really going to play him and then you want him to replicate things that Bruno's doing, may as well loan him for 6 months. It's part of his development. You know, I've heard Napoli said they'll take him and play him. I've heard West Ham said he's guaranteed a starting spot. I mean, I don't really want him to go and play for West Ham, but at the end of the day, if he does, he'll be in the Premier League and he'll still be kind of developing. So if the club can bring in a decent player to rotate and then you reassess in the summertime, then I think that's kind of what you're going to have to do.
Okay, let me ask the question. Potts, have you been surprised by this season United compared to last season? And do you think Amorim's got more of a handle on the league now?
No, I've not been massively surprised because the attack's really good, isn't it? I rate Cunha, I rate Mbuemo, and Sesko's definitely an upgrade on Højlund, whatever you think of him, right? So I think when you look at the attack, Man United have definitely upgraded. I think their midfield is actually an issue. I don't know that Bruno and Casemiro is what they need moving forward. I think it can do a job. But certainly they look to upgrade that in the summer if they could. I imagine they're looking at Baleba and Adam Wharton and players like that for a reason, you know what I mean? So I think that's why. But yeah, I think the Amorim one is a strange one for me. Like Kobbie Mainoo's not going to fit that system, so he has to leave. That's just a given. Like he's got to go. But like for me, Amorim, I feel like he's definitely starting against Liverpool. That's one of the best systems I'd seen under Amorim. Like, I thought that actually really did work. I thought Man United were really, very good to watch and have been a lot better. So yeah, maybe give him a bit of time and see what he can do. But I personally probably would have pulled the plug already. Like, when you lose to Grimsby, just stay in Grimsby, man. Like, you know what I mean, don't come back out. So, but yeah, maybe they're right to keep him a bit longer. But I don't know. Man United, for me, should be going for the top 6 this season. And if they float around then fair, because the money they've spent and what they've now got. I'm just glad my manager hasn't lost more than him in 2025. Sorry, Errol and Tom.
Yeah. Well, I've got this last little segment to put on everybody's toes. It was out there. It's done the rounds on socials. Man are chatting that Steven Gerrard's got no tech, lads. And now you know we're a Liverpool channel. And you know I'm always going to have red-tinted glasses and I'm going to be biased. But this is the Rice versus Gerrard debate section, yeah?
Wait, so they're saying Rice has tech and Gerrard doesn't?
Allegedly. But it's there in 4K and there are receipts to this
I've
as well.
I've watched the clip.
When were these people born?
What's the question?
It was
was this? I know what video this was.
It's a Filthy Fellas clip, and then Lippy Lickshot is basically talking about how he thinks that Rice, when all things said and done, Declan Rice could basically eclipse what Gerrard's done in the Prem. And then he ended the clip by saying Gerrard wasn't even that good technically. So obviously you've had all these different fans kind of creating the videos and like kind of showing all the videos. I don't know. Like, can I just start on this? When I saw that, I was like, I don't know what Lippy had been smoking earlier, because for him, Gerrard, obviously, I'm not a Liverpool fan, but obviously close to me seeing Gerrard growing up, being in Liverpool and stuff. To say he's not technical, then I don't know what you're saying about Declan Rice then, because they're not in the same kind of... And that's no disrespect to Rice, because he's a top player, but...
No, it should be as disrespectful to Rice. Rice is not on the level of Steven Gerrard.
There's levels to this, because Gerrard is in the conversation with your Scholes, your Yaya, your Xavi, your Zidane.
Do you get me?
Ooh,
Rice.
Don't go too far.
Declan Rice is closer to Elliot Anderson than he'll ever be.
He's closer to Jordan Henderson. I've been telling people this.
We're not having it.
I've been telling people.
Hold on. Let Errol. I mean, this is Jordan Henderson, FWA winner. We're talking about here. This is
No, but
how many Premier League medals does Scott Carson have? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, though, like saying Gerrard doesn't have tech.
No, he didn't play enough games to qualify.
and I don't even know why he brought Rice's name into it, because he's just making Rice look silly. Because even though Arsenal fans and people gas Rice up, and I think he's a quality player, I think Rice is really good and he shines because he has good moments, and I think he's decent and he'll have a very consistent game.
Dead ball delivery's excellent.
Excellent,
though.
Like, he's not in that echelon for me. I don't know whether he ever will. I mean, I remember, was it last season where people were trying to compare him to Yaya, and I thought people are doing too much now.
Who said? I can't remember who it was on in that clip earlier as well. It might have been Marg saying that he's been transformative. And I remember me and you, Potts, had this conversation when he signed. And that was the bar that we kind of both agreed.
Yeah.
Declan Rice needs to be that. You've spent that money. When Liverpool spent the respective money on Van Dijk, the whole premise was Van Dijk transforms Liverpool's side and pushes them closer to a league title. Rice had that kind of bounty on his head.
Absolutely. Let's not start being silly though, man. Like, I don't know why we're comparing these two players. I don't get it. Where's the comparison? I don't understand. There's not really anything alike, in my opinion. I think that they both play in central midfield. But let's be real.
Finishes.
There's no.
I've just pulled up the clip here. I haven't seen it before.
No, I haven't.
This fella's description of Steven Gerrard was a man that just runs around trying mad hard, scoring bare long-range goals. I don't know about you, but scoring bare long-range goals requires an element of technical fucking ability.
He's just described Scott McTominay, man.
I ain't never seen Joe Gomez smash 30 yarders in, and Steven Gerrard has more technical ability than Joe Gomez.
Yeah.
So it's like, This is a man who got man of the match in a Champions League final playing 4 different fucking positions.
I don't get the comparison really. If I'm honest, I think Gerrard, Lampard, Kevin De Bruyne. You can have a discussion about that if you want, but I don't really see how Rice gets into the conversation. I love Rice; he's unbelievable, and at the age that he is now, I think he's got unbelievable future still to go and potentially win more than Steven Gerrard does. Maybe let's say that. But in terms of the actual ability of the player, I don't think we can put him in the same bracket. In my opinion, Gerrard is. I mean, I'm not a particular fan of many of the Liverpool players, but he's certainly one of my favourite ever Premier League players, Steven Gerrard, and I'm an Arsenal fan, so I think that says it all, really. Yeah, very strange debate, very strange.
I mean, Gerrard could do a job as a 10, an 8, a 6, on the wing if needs be, at fullback if needs be. In reality, all I can do with Declan Rice is put him at centre-back. If it came down, I couldn't put Declan Rice as a 10. I could do him as an 8, a 6, and a centre-back.
But that's why they're not comparable, Tom. I don't know. It's like comparing Steven Gerrard and Gareth Barry, isn't it? Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is like not anything wrong with Gareth Barry.
He's a very midfield there.
They're 2 different positions. I don't really get it. I understand that Rice.
The comparison is silly because they don't even do the same.
They don't do the same job. Yeah,
the remit on the pitch is not the same thing because there was a period of time where Gerrard was on the connecting midfield to attack. As you mentioned, Tom and yourself, Potts, he play as a 10, play on the right. He's there to score goals, assists, and he's not. Rice is there to do a bit of everything, but he's always been more so a defensive presence. Like everyone rated Rice of his athleticism.
Someone's got background noise.
I was going to say someone's background noise is really
keeping
in there.
It is.
I don't know whose it is.
So good. And lads, we are going to wrap up in a sec anyway, but I just wanted to get that out there and just see if there was anyone brave enough.
Steven Gerrard doesn't have technical ability. This is a man who's got an FA Cup final named after himself. He scored a fucking 40-yard screamer that no one's ever matched. And I'm trying to listen to, Declan Rice can do shuttle runs, they're good. Declan Rice covers that left-hand channel really well, you know. Come on.
Well, this is the era of football.
Big up to Declan Rice, though. Let's not make out like Declan Rice.
He's a quality
Declan's quality, man. He's quality.
Declan can sit there and talk to the man like Jordan Henderson. You can sit there and talk to a man like Jordan or a man like Lallana, and we can talk about these kind of guys. We're not talking about Steven Gerrard here, though.
Potts, we will be back to have that conversation at the end of the season.
Man, his level is Jordan Henderson, man. Henderson was a good player, but Rice, come on, man.
Declan Rice has never had a performance like Jordan Henderson did against Barcelona.
Wow, one-off game, man. Let's. I didn't see Jordan Henderson putting him in top bins against Real Madrid, man. So let's see.
He didn't need him.
Fair play.
Let's see, because Jordan Henderson's Christ. How old is he now? 30. Let's see what Rice has done at 35. Yeah, let's see what Rice has done at 35.
Still done a job against us the other day for Brentford.
Yeah, but fucking hell. Look, United have done a job against us, Errol. We're not a great fucking benchmark this year.
I know. Right, lads, I am going to thank you all. I hope you all have a good weekend. Arsenal less so. United, use the early kickoff tomorrow against Spurs. Give me your score predictions for the weekend, boys. Shout out your channels. Let people know where we can watch your content. We are going to redirect after this to the catch-up because I will be going over there live just after 8 o'clock. So I will start with Tom Little. Tom, watch everyone else go on mute for me as well. So
there's loads of background noise, man.
Yeah, sorry, boys. Tom Little, shout out your score prediction for this weekend's game against City, and then following on from that, let people know what content you've got out and about.
For this weekend against City, we'll go for a nice, easy 4-0 with Isak getting 2 off the bench. Just nice and easy, not too wild. And then, in terms of where you can find me, I'd need to post something for you to find me. So,
fair play.
There's no point. I'm not going to disappoint anyone by saying something and not delivering on it.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the energy for the big Liverpool win as well, so I'll take that. Man, like Pedro in the cut, thank you very much for joining us again, bro. 2 weeks on the bounce. Really do appreciate your time. Let people know your score prediction for your match against Tottenham tomorrow, and then let people know where your podcast is at.
It's a sticky one because obviously we struggle away from home, so I am going for a narrow 2-1 win for United, but I can see it go the other way as well. People can find us at 2 Touch Podcast on Instagram. So yeah, that's us 2-1 to United, but I won't be surprised if it went the other way as well.
Blessings. Tezza, same drill. What's your score prediction? And let people know where your content is.
I think it'll be a score draw. I think United haven't beaten Tottenham away for a good couple of seasons now, but we have managed to draw a couple of times. So I think United away from home on average concede 2 goals. So let's say another 2-2. And then Tezki on everything. I'm gonna drop another. I've written the article. I just need to finish it off of Amorim's year in charge because he celebrated an anniversary somehow. But
Scammed his way to an anniversary, Amorim.
Ruben Scammer, as they call him. Some
Fair play. Potts, I know you're going to have a busy weekend pumping out the content, but obviously you take on Sunderland this weekend as well. What's your score prediction? How do you see the game playing out?
I think we're going to concede this weekend for the first time in what has been a long time, but I do think we're going to win the game. I think we'll win 2-1. And I think Sunderland should be respected. I've actually been really impressed with Sunderland and Bournemouth in terms of how entertaining they've been. I think they've been the 2 of the best to watch this season so far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone's been great to watch. I know that people don't care because Arsenal are top and, it's not fun to watch. I don't care, man. Just win me that league. I don't care how. But at the same time, if you want entertaining football, then Bournemouth and Sunderland have been excellent to watch this season, in my opinion. So I think they'll come and give it a go. They've got nothing to lose, but I'll go 2-1. I think City win 2-1 and I think Man United win 2-1. But, I hope it's a draw against Man City, Liverpool. That's what I'm praying for. And I want Man United to win because much as I hate them, I cannot stand Tottenham Hotspur. So obviously I want Man United to win. So yeah, man. Let's see. Big up to everyone. Football's 12th man. Come and check it out. Big up, Errol.
Blessings, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, make sure you do check out Football 12s, man. You do catch me on there most Monday nights after the weekend's results, giving my opinion and some hot takes as well. We had a good cooking this week, so I enjoyed the show. Got to cook up my leg veggie. It's been a long time coming. And last but not least, Connor, CDL. How you doing, brother? Give me your score predictions and any of your content that you're pushing out over the weekend.
So, score predictions. Across the board, pretty similar to Poch, but for our game, we're not conceding. We're not conceding a shot on target. It's carrying on as it has been. And respect to Sunderland, because they have been great. We're smashing them 5-0. We're only going to score 2 set-piece goals.
Wow.
The rest is going to be open play, and everyone's going to go, oh, my God, what is happening in this world? I'm going to have to find a new club to support because I'm going to be disappointed if we score more outfield goals. What's the point in having a system if you don't stick to it? Do you know what I mean? If you can have a system and an identity, stick to it. I hope United smash Spurs. I really do. And you already know I want to draw with you guys. I'd rather you both get 1 point than either of you get closer to us. Like,
understandable.
It's from a logical standpoint, you know what I mean? So I reckon I'm going to call a draw and use.
I think, and I get this with LB earlier. I think a draw is more dangerous though, because a draw keeps us both just within touching distance, whereas the win could really be the signifier of which one is going to end up in that title race. But we will see. There's a whole weekend of games still to be played. Obviously, Arsenal get the chance to extend the lead. Manchester United, will they continue their form? And Liverpool, like the thumbnail says, will we bounce back? You'll have to tune into all the weekend's games to find out, and then tune into us next week, and we will give you our thoughts and feelings over the international break. Lads, ladies, everybody in the chat, thank you. My panel, once again, Red Cartel, lads, really appreciate you jumping on and getting involved. I hope you all have a blessed weekend. Enjoy, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.